coalitions of government.
Calls are intensifying for Parliament to suspend debate on the proposed Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 as stakeholders raise alarm over its constitutionality, transparency, and potential economic implications. Concerns deepened after President Museveni disclosed discrepancies between the cabinet-approved draft and the version currently before Parliament, triggering questions over the bill's legislative process and integrity. Stakeholders are now demanding that Parliament pauses deliberations and subjects the bills to broader public consultations, lawful certification, and a comprehensive review of how amendments were introduced.
A law that weakens the citizen, silences civic participation, and makes it dangerous for citizens to organize, speak, associate, question public policy, or participate in public life is not a sovereignty law. It is a law against the sovereign people. Everyone is opposed to this bill, at least majority, we know.
97% rejection is one that says, rather dustbin that thing, but don't take it for panel beating. If it was 50-40, that would be understandable, but 98 or 96 totally calls for its rejection and keeping it far away from Ugandans. Therefore, our position is to call upon the members of Parliament and tell them for once to have Uganda at heart and not only look at their selfish interests, their personality, but rather the people who gave them the mandate to be in Parliament and represent them.
If it has created a concern to the President, then who this Ugandan that created this kind of a shock to the nation with this kind of penalty, 2 billion, 20 years, because I saw the President, he said that he was the one who suggested it, something of that nature. But again, when it came in space, it was very contrary to his inner interest and all that. So therefore, who is this Ugandan that is bringing anarchy to us?
Critics argue that the bill risks duplicating existing legal frameworks and could have far-reaching economic consequences if passed in its current form.
Economically, it will slow inflow of money, remittances, investment. 2, pressure on foreign exchange and currency, rising inflation and cost of living. 4, reduced business activity and investment confidence. People will lose confidence in investing in this country because they don't know when they will be declared foreigners. And therefore, part of the system that we saw, that the money can be confiscated.
And, it really shocks me. It is setting precedent. 2 billion and then 20 years in prison. It's really very funny, but that's how it is. And for those that are bringing it to us as Ugandans, they are not in fear. You go for 20 billion or both 20 years, as it is saying. This is very, 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 absurd. As Uganda National Traders Alliance and the Kampala Cadres Advocacy Forum, we strongly reject this bill reasonably because it will put everyone's survival at risk.
Citing Article 1 of the 1995 Constitution, which vests sovereignty in the people, the Citizens Coalition has joined the growing list of voices calling for the withdrawal of the bill, insisting that any legislation touching on sovereignty must reflect the will of the people through inclusive processes.
Where a bill has been substantially altered, the proper procedure is withdrawal, redrafting, regazetting, reintroduction, and fresh public consultations. The same standard must apply here. Anything less would be an abuse of this process. Thirdly, Uganda already has sufficient laws to deal with the mischief the bill claims to address.
Withdraw the bill and take it back to the cabinet and they go with it. And then Uganda will begin at least a new swearing when we are not weeping, wailing, and crying. That we shall get into the new swearing with at least a bit of joy that at least the most dangerous thing that had come to kill us is now removed. I want to call upon God to really visit you in that Parliament.
As debate intensifies, attention now turns to Parliament, where lawmakers face increasing pressure to either proceed with the bill or heed widespread calls for transparency, accountability, and public participations.